The Curse of Oak Island is a multi-season reality television series that chronicles a team of treasure hunters run by brothers Marty and Rick Lagena and its search for legendary treasure on Oak Island off the shore of Nova Scotia. But who is funding this treasure hunting show? Is Rick Lagena the mastermind behind all this? Is he a millionaire and rich beyond our wildest dreams? To find out, we delved deep into the numbers and decided to make this detailed video for you guys. We even checked where he worked before this treasure hunt, and his story is full of twists and turns. Before we move on to our million-dollar question, let's take a dive into his past and see how did it all start. At less than 1 mile long and 1,000 feet wide, the tiny island of Oak Island in Nova Scotia has played host to the world's longest-running and most expensive treasure hunt. Americans Rick and Marty Lagena are the latest treasure hunters to take up the challenge, and so far have spent nearly a decade searching on the island. We've spoken a lot about the Curse of Oak Island lately, and most of you love these characters from the show. Initially, the cast consisted of a core group including Rick, Marty, and Alex Lagena, Dan and Dave Blankenship, Craig Tester, Jack Begley, Dan Henske, Charles Barkhouse, and Peter Fornetti. And with time, the Oak Island team has expanded. Some specialists who were brought to the island for specific purposes, such as Terry Matheson, Laird Niven, and Gary Drayton, have joined the team as full-time members. The cast is being paid on a per-season deal, so they aren't legally bound to be present in each single episode. Their deal is the typical reality show deal, so they rake up some serious thousands each per season. On the other hand, they also work up product placement deals, which helps out as well. But here is how it all began. In 2006, Rick and Marty purchased a 50% stake of Oak Island Tours, Inc., the company that owned the island, with Oak Island resident Dan Blankenship retaining the other 50%. It was when their treasure hunting days began. Before that, the brothers had two very different careers. Most people, when they first watched The Curse of Oak Island...
Well, here's the deal, Rick. I am sick of the swamp, and I am wanting to quit. What do you mean you want to quit?
Think that both the Lagena were equally rich, but they are not. It turns out Marty is the doer and Rick is the dreamer, as Marty's net worth is estimated to be as high as $100 million. Divide it by 10 and you get Rick's net worth, which is around $10 million. But the question is, how did he earn his actual fortune? Outside of being a reality TV star, Marty is also a very successful businessman, and that has allowed him to fund the entire Oak Island Tours operation and treasure hunt. Before becoming a TV star, he found success in the fields of natural gas and wind power extraction. Marty attended Michigan Tech University, after which he started working for Amoco as a petroleum engineer. He went on to get his Juris Doctor at the University of Michigan, while working in the petroleum consulting business on the side. His company, Terra Energy, was a pioneer in extracting natural gas from shale around the Midwest in the 1990s. With this company, he developed over $3 billion in natural gas resources and oil. This means that Rick is richer than most of you, but way poorer when in comparison to most of his Oak Island partners. Now, most of you might be thinking, what did Rick do before Oak Island? Well, Rick was just like you and your buddy working a full-time job. Rick Lagena is a mechanical engineering graduate. His experience in engineering perhaps helps explain the team's methodical approach to finding riches, which involves making use of a variety of tools and techniques to comb the island's interior. In fact, Rick was a post office worker, so he was just a grunt in the American mailing industry. This is probably one of the reasons fans relate so much to him and have roughly the same outlook on life. He was truly one of us before Marty took him on this adventure.
I want to pull this corner back because when we first dug, I thought there were a couple, 3 stones there.
Where he made most of his money from. Rick was born on January 25, 1952 in Kingsford, Michigan, USA. His net worth of $10 million is largely accumulated through his television career and investments related to Oak Island. Before his television fame, Rick was involved in the energy business, and he co-founded Terra Energy Limited, a successful energy company in Michigan, which contributed significantly to his early financial success. But before joining the show, his net worth was substantial, estimated to be in the range of several million dollars. However, his true passion for Oak Island and its mysteries led him to invest a significant portion of his wealth into various expeditions and excavations on the island. Growing up in a humble household, he developed an interest in history and mysteries from an early age. After completing his education, Rick pursued a career in the energy industry, where he found considerable success alongside his brother Marty Lagena. But from here onwards, the story took a sharp turn. Their interest in Oak Island was sparked by a 1965 Reader's Digest article. It detailed the island's intriguing history and the potential treasures hidden beneath its surface. Rick and Marty became captivated by the mystery and embarked on a journey to uncover its secrets. In 2014, Rick and his brother Marty became the central figures in the History Channel's The Curse of Oak Island. The show follows their quest as they employ modern technology and historical research to uncover the island's secrets. Rick's determination and leadership have been instrumental in driving the team forward, regardless of numerous setbacks and challenges. Over the years, The Curse of Oak Island has become one of History Channel's most popular shows that attracted millions of viewers worldwide. Besides the financial risks involved, Rick's dedication to solving Oak Island's mysteries has remained unwavering. His net worth may have fluctuated over the years due to the uncertainties of treasure hunting and television production, but his passion for unraveling the island's secrets continues to drive him forward, making him a beloved figure among fans of the show.
Heavy?
Yeah, it's heavy. I don't know what it is. It's a curved piece of iron.
Yeah.
However, during all this time, was Rick ever married? It is clear that Rick Lagena is single and was never married. It just may be that Rick is that cool uncle who never got married, and a wife isn't for him. We all know the type, and Rick seems to impersonate it. Who knows? There have been two distinct rumors about Rick, some about him being gravely ill and some about him being dead. Both of these rumors, like many stories, have a little bit of truth to them. But fortunately for you and for him, the common ground is how the rumors started and not how they ended. Rick fell gravely ill due to bacterial infection, but he was treated quickly and spent some time recovering, which made him bounce back on his feet at 100%. The other rumor has to do with poisonous gas being released by the island, and once again that was true. But the crew was evacuated right on time, and everyone was okay. So Rick is in perfectly good health. On the other hand, there has been a lot of discussion on the internet regarding how old is Rick Lagena. When is his birthday? Rick is 72 years old and he was born on the 25th of January, 1952.
So what we're doing here is trying to determine the boundaries of the paved area.
It's a surprise at how well he looks considering his age. Rick is average in height at 175 m, and he weighs 79 kilograms, so he's not bad for a 68-year-old, although he could stand to lose some of his belly. Just relishing in the fact majority men are exactly the same height, but in much better shape. He shares a common trait with his brother, and that is the hair starts losing the color at the sideburns and going up, but that's not all. Born in Kingsford, Michigan, Marty studied science and mechanical engineering at Michigan Tech. After graduating in 1977, he went on to work for the Amoco Production Company, a major oil firm. Whilst working as an engineer for them, he gained a degree in law from the University of Michigan in 1982. He then went on to found his own company, Terra Energy Limited, which became a pioneer in natural gas extraction. As a result, the company became one of the biggest shale gas operators in Michigan State. Now this is where the journey for Lagena brothers actually kicked in. In 1995, Marty sold the company to CMS Energy for around $60 million. With the proceeds, he purchased shares of Chartwell Properties, making him the main shareholder. He also used some of the money to start a new company in 2004 called Heritage Sustainable, a clean energy provider. The company has grown to become one of the largest providers of renewable energy in the state of Michigan and one of the largest wind turbine companies in the Midwest. Also in the early 2000s, he set up another company in Michigan, this time focused on wine production. What began as a 3-acre winery called Row 7, it has now expanded to become Villa Mari Vineyards, with over 60 acres of vineyards. However, the important thing is that Marty was also interested in Oak Island, but was more skeptical than his older brother. Marty wanted his brother to achieve his lifetime goal, and so he put up the majority of the money to purchase the stake in Oak Island Tours, Inc. Now, most of you might be wondering about how much have the Lagena brothers spent on Oak Island. Well, for obvious reasons, they haven't disclosed the exact figures, but it's hard to know for sure since the sum that Rick and Marty paid to gain a 50% share of Oak Island Tours, Inc. has always been undisclosed.
We're drilling in the scientifically delineated area where the gold is coming from.
However, estimates have been made about how much they spend on their drilling and digging operations each year. The brothers were granted their treasure trove license back in July 2010, which allowed them to commence their search at the end of that same year. Being a purely summer endeavor, Since the Nova Scotia winters make digging near impossible, the brothers have currently had 8 summers searching on Oak Island. They're known for using sophisticated technology and bringing in global experts to aid in their quest, none of which come cheaply. The amount they've spent has also clearly increased over the years, with The Curse of Oak Island showing bigger and better tech coming onto the island every year. You must consider all the equipment at the site while calculating the amount they've spent on the show. The massive drilling rigs, worth hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, which are getting even bigger for Series 6, are by far the most expensive pieces of equipment that the brothers have brought onto the island. The excavators and diggers they've used to shift the earth come in a close second. On the other hand, when it comes to critical and audience reception, the show finds itself sailing in slightly choppy waters. At IMDb, it is anchored at a 6.9 rating based on over 6,500 user reviews, paints a picture of a show enjoyed by some, questioned by others. On the other hand, at Rotten Tomatoes, the critics haven't been entirely sold, awarding a modest 41% approval score. Yet the audience throws a lifeline with a surprisingly higher 70% fresh rating, indicating a disconnect between professional and personal opinions. Let's talk about other notable names from the show. Kevin Burns, known the world as one of the most popular and richest screenwriters, was born on June 18, 1955, in Schenectady, United States. His name can be found in the records of A&E, National Geographic Channel, Animal Planet, AMC, Bravo, Travel Channel, Lifetime, and the History Channel. He is one of the richest screenwriters from the United States. According to Wikipedia, Forbes, and Business Insider, Kevin Burns' net worth is $35 million. Burns has created and executive produced more than 800 hours of television programming. In 1999, Burns officially made a transition from his role as a studio executive to that of a full-time producer. While still under a production deal at Fox Television Studios, Burns and John Jashny formed Synthesis Entertainment and began developing and producing remakes and sequels of the Allen properties, most notably a Fox television pilot for an updated version of The Time Tunnel, 2002, and the feature film versions of Poseidon and Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
Folks, my next guests are the treasure-hunting stars of The Curse of Oak Island, Rick and Marty Lagena.
Shifting our focus back on Rick Lagena, he is a successful individual with a long list of accomplishments. Rick has been instrumental in the discovery of several important artifacts and structures on Oak Island, working with his brother Marty and their team. These finds include old coins, cryptic inscriptions, possible booby traps, and other artifacts from the island's past that provide a glimpse into the island's history. Together, the Lagena brothers have made significant investments in modern technology and machinery to support their treasure hunt on Oak Island. Their unique use of instruments like sonar scanning, ground-penetrating radar, and sophisticated drilling procedures has made it possible to find previously undiscovered hints and structures. Through their television series, Rick and his team have brought the story of Oak Island to a global audience, sparking widespread interest and curiosity about the island's mysteries. Their efforts have inspired countless viewers like you to learn more about Oak Island's history and the ongoing quest to unlock its secrets. Besides that, by building close relationships with the locals on Oak Island and in Nova Scotia, Rick Lagena has gained the respect and cooperation of locals, historians, and specialists. His dedication to teamwork and community involvement has aided in creating a feeling of unity of purpose among those engaged in the ongoing treasure hunt. But have you thought about how much the Lagena brothers earns from a single episode of the show? How much does the show make out of each episode? Every season of the show has more than 20 episodes, which means that the brothers, Rick and Marty Lagena, must have earned around $2 million each season. And according to Distractify, the cast members of the show are paid around $100,000 per episode. But these numbers aren't openly given by Rick or Marty. All in all, from the success story of Rick Lagena, we can realize the importance of hard work,
entire world. There is still more. Both the stone wall on Lot 26 and the pine tar furnace on Lot 15 contained fragments of charcoal. That indicates the presence of fire. They also discovered a piece of pottery, which provides additional insight into what the object may be. The images depict numerous kiln structures discovered by the University of York throughout Europe. They date back to the Roman era, proving that this technology is not new. Immediately, focus on the kiln on Lot 5. Observing the proximity to the water is intriguing. Regardless, let's dissect this and have some fun. First, visualize the mysterious setting in which we find ourselves. This location may be optimal for a covert operation. What if we told you a kiln could be hidden there? A kiln indeed. Consider alternative applications for this kiln before imagining a group of potters creating exquisite pottery. Our minds are racing and we are thinking about pipelines. Pipes indeed. This excellent hypothesis proposes Oak Island may contain a system of flood tunnels. What is this then? This is supported by evidence such as the valve and the cavity beneath the trapdoor. In this case, things are becoming increasingly intriguing. Perhaps intelligent infrastructure is used to construct the underground tunnels. They may be developing a hydraulic system to control the flow of water. However implausible it may seem, let's experiment with it anyway. It is prudent to use pipelines instead of open tunnels. The island's rugged terrain was only marginally suitable for tunneling. If water were to flow through certain areas, they might erode or collapse. Why then not utilize pipes to maintain a constant flow without endangering a collapse? At this point, things become even more pleasurable. Let's investigate the origins of pottery, my companion. We are discussing a technique that has existed since Roman times: clay pipes. Before, these pipelines were formed around a wooden structure, but it was difficult to connect them seamlessly. They ingeniously employed the potter's wheel, which originated in ancient Samaria around 3500 BCE. Incredible, right? Nevertheless, there's more. We should talk about glazing. You know, the protective layer that prevents water from permeating clay and causing damage to ceramics. Roman glazing techniques were extraordinarily inventive. They utilized salt, lead, and tin, invented later, to create an impregnable, complex covering. At this point, things begin to become somewhat chaotic. A pottery instructor asserts that adding saline or ocean water to clay causes its surface to bloom. The kiln firing process produces a beautiful salt patina. Can you imagine the ancient Romans using ocean water to produce these beautiful orange peel textured pipes? Mind-blowing. Let's discuss the pottery object discovered by Laird on the island. Laird believes it dates from the first half of the 18th century, but who knows? It could, after all, be a conduit. What is it? Though it does not appear to be a conventional straight pipe. Not every conduit needs to be straight. This component may be included in a conduit system with a radius of 12 to 14 inches. What is this then? Similar to the redware discovered on Oak Island, this object was crafted from clay. It could be a piece of the puzzle. Let us introduce you to the Romans once more. They were skilled at installing pipelines. Instead of using a single large conduit, they created these intricate pipelines comprised of numerous smaller pipes. It enabled them to regulate water flow and pressure adequately. A unique archaeological image of a Roman pipe reveals the sophistication and complexity of their systems. What is the future? Oak Island may have had a comparable system. You are in store for one more astounding realization. Are you still familiar with the Great Quadrilateral? Recently, essentials have begun to appear in unexpected places. Additionally, they were discovered at the Israeli castle of Belvoir. Are you serious? These nails, found throughout Notre Dame, date to the 1160s and were used to secure stones together during construction. Discuss prehistoric engineering techniques. Then, what does this signify for Oak Island? Well, it's all speculation. We are merely investigating the options for fun. But here's a wild idea. What if these materials discovered on Oak Island were used in an architectural marvel? They may have been part of an intricate structure that required precise stone binding. What is the future? Everything fits into the Oak Island arrangement. Let's mention the stone wall they discovered before we conclude. Even though it is not a wall in the traditional sense, it resembles a circle of pebbles in that it is filled with trash. What is this then? Underneath it, charcoal was discovered. There is still a great deal of data to locate and integrate. Subscribing to the channel will provide you with access to more blues from the world of mysteries. As we conclude our investigation of Oak Island's secrets, it is important to note that all hypotheses remain speculative. However, the investigation of potential connections between historic hydraulic systems, Roman engineering, and ancient furnaces adds an exciting dimension of intrigue. Researchers discovered something incredible in the Oak Island money pit. Oak Island is a sequestered location off the south coast of Nova Scotia, and for generations, people have been fascinated by the island. Finally, researchers discovered something unbelievable in the Oak Island money pit. A large number of academics, scientists, and explorers are intrigued by the possibility of uncovering the mysteries buried beneath the island's surface. It may seem like an exciting adventure on a real-life treasure island, but bear in mind that many individuals have risked their entire fortunes in an attempt to make a fortune on this island. Some unfortunate individuals have even lost their lives in the process, only to have nothing to show for it in the end. The entrance of the Lagena brothers, who have joined the long list of treasure hunters attempting to solve the island's mysteries, has brought about a recent change in the status quo. The Lagena brothers are confident that they possess the skills necessary to locate the fabled treasure said to be buried on Oak Island, and ultimately, these researchers discovered something in the Oak Island money pit that you won't believe. Join us as we observe them as they investigate this 200-year-old enigma, and together we will determine if there is, in fact, hidden wealth on the island. Throughout the course of their expedition, they stumble upon some astounding discoveries that will astound you. The Lagena brothers have devoted a substantial portion of their careers to locating buried wealth. It is understandable why anyone would be captivated by the prospect of unearthing centuries-old treasure buried by someone in the past. Unfortunately, similar to a large number of other visitors to the island, the brothers initially encountered difficulties and failed in their endeavors. Rick and Marty were fortunate in that their treasure hunting efforts did not go unnoticed. The A&E network became aware of the brothers' work, and recognizing the potential for a compelling series about treasure hunters investigating Oak Island, decided to collaborate with them on a series titled The Curse of Oak Island. It's quite eerie, wouldn't you say? Thanks to their cooperation with the television network, the brothers were able to recover the funds that they had previously spent on their travels to the island. Their research activities attained an entirely new level after receiving financial support from the network and other investors. It is essential to note, however, that despite the influx of wealth, the Lagena brothers and their new investors did not make any noteworthy discoveries during the first 2 seasons of their program. This is something that must be recognized. Despite this, they demonstrated an admirable amount of patience, which is commendable because, as the saying goes, patience is a virtue. After 3 seasons of searching, the explorers on Oak Island finally made significant discoveries that aroused their curiosity. The discovery of a ceremonial Roman sword suggested that Roman soldiers may have visited Oak Island before Christopher Columbus. This major accomplishment opened a floodgate of opportunities for the crew, and as they diligently combed the island for riches, they discovered a wide variety of artifacts and antiquities. A handcrafted replica of a map of France was one of their discoveries, which aroused their interest in the artifact. In order to conduct the analysis, they enlisted the assistance of historian and maritime expert Zena Halpern. After determining that the map was created in 1647, Halpern theorized that the resources it indicated may have originated in Africa. During the course of their investigation, the Lagena brothers and the rest of their crew discovered fragments of a book, which further investigation revealed to be a bookbinder. After making this discovery, the brothers began to contemplate the possibility that they had not yet discovered additional buried manuscripts on the island. A fragment of parchment made from animal skin was yet another fascinating artifact discovered. William Chappell and Frederick Blair, explorers of Oak Island, have been hypothesized to be involved. In the 15th century, when the document was created, only the wealthy could afford to dispatch mail. In addition, the explorers discovered a number of gold coins near a pit that became known as the Money Pit. This location sparked the island's obsession with treasure that has persisted for the past 2 centuries. Unfortunately, a recurring issue with flooding halted Chappell and Blair's treasure hunting expedition when the Money Pit became submerged in water, preventing them from making any further progress. After Chappell and Blair led the way, many others attempted to find treasure on Oak Island, but unfortunately none were successful. Chappell and Blair were only the beginning of a long line of people who followed in their footsteps. The issue of where the loot was hidden evaded even President Roosevelt, despite his best efforts. Despite numerous abortive attempts, the search for treasure on the island continued indefinitely. This was due to the efforts of individuals like Irwin Hamilton, who unearthed artifacts that were not typical of the area. It was evident that Rick and Marty had a challenging mission ahead of them. They were fortunate to have a competent and capable team supporting them. Craig Tester, who had been Marty's college flatmate, joined their ranks, as did Dan Blankenship and his son David, all of whom were experts in their respective disciplines. Dan Blankenship, for instance, was a renowned hunter who left his contracting business to investigate the enigmatic island. Since the Lagena siblings had been treasure hunting since they were young children, it was not surprising that they were both exceptionally skilled at the activity. As soon as Ricky, then 10 years old, stumbled upon a boulder and became intrigued by the concept of unearthing buried treasure, their passion for treasure seeking was ignited. Even though their first attempt to search the boulder for treasure failed, it set them on a path that would lead them to spend the remainder of their lives engaging in similar adventures. As time passed, they gained a deeper understanding of the tales and legends surrounding Oak Island, which strengthened their resolve to investigate the island's mysteries further. The brothers Lagena and Dan Blankenship each purchased one half of the stock in Oak Island tours in order to realize their dream of discovering the buried treasure and seizing it for themselves. This gang appears to be destined to follow in the footsteps of their former commander, Daniel McGinnis. McGinnis discovered a depression in the ground on Oak Island in 1796, prompting him to initiate his own search for wealth on the island. They and their associates spent approximately 10 years excavating the pit, but none of their efforts bore fruit. In the end, the Onslow Company was the one to assume responsibility for excavating the money grave, but they too were disappointed. Discovering only a stone instrument containing writing, it took over a century to translate the inscription on the stone tablet, which is believed to read, 40 feet below, 2 million pounds are buried. Others relied on conjecture, such as Marie Antoinette hiding her wealth prior to her execution, or William Shakespeare hiding his fortune and unpublished works, while others used this as evidence to infer that there could be treasure on the island. Despite this, these hypotheses have not been confirmed because no treasure has been found. Since the beginning of excavation on the island, individuals such as the Lagena brothers have been responsible for the discovery of hundreds, if not thousands, of artifacts. The Lagenas made a remarkable discovery when they unearthed the bones of two distinct individuals. The fact that one set of bones belonged to a person of Middle Eastern ancestry and the other to a person of European ancestry added another layer of enigma to the island's history. The remains were discovered on opposing sides of the island. The discovery of bones belonging to individuals of Middle Eastern and European descent led to the conclusion that these men may have been members of the Knights Templar. Gary Drayton, an additional member of the Lagena team known as the Metal-Finding Ninja, discovered a medieval-era cross and a stone with Greek letters. After analyzing the relics, Zena Halpern argued that they may be associated with Tannin, the Phoenician deity of fertility. These discoveries appeared to support the hypothesis that the Knights Templar had visited the island. However, after analyzing the artifacts, Zena Halpern hypothesized that they were associated with Tannin. When the cross's lead covering was removed, it was discovered to be made of gold, leading some to presume it was used to smuggle gold. In addition, some individuals believed the cross may have been used to transport gold. The Lagena brothers believed that their discoveries were more important than those of their contemporaries. Are you currently appreciating this video? Be careful to subscribe and enable post notifications to be notified immediately when a new post is published. In spite of this, they remained enthusiastic about continuing their search for treasure on Oak Island, which was fueled in part by their desire to uncover the island's mysteries as they proceeded. They made additional discoveries, including the discovery of various types of stone tablets in the money pit. Initially, the tablets were considered to be nothing more than ordinary artifacts, but after further investigation, it became apparent that they could represent evidence of Viking occupation of the island. Oak Island exploration has been a phenomenal experience for the Lagena brothers. Through their partnership with the television network, they were able to achieve financial success despite not discovering any genuine treasures. As a consequence of the show, they now own 50% of the island and have become billionaires. They remain committed to their work in the hopes that one day, with a little luck, they will find the treasure chests buried somewhere beneath Oak Island. Researchers on the team have just discovered something no one was meant to see. Click the following video to find out.